There's something about the NBA playoffs.
Grant there with a two-hand block.
Each play, each is like gold. This is the gold at the end of that rainbow. Your claim that you're the best. That claim has been made twice by the 76ers in their fabulous Philadelphia history. In last season's playoffs, a plucky upstart group of youngsters had the piston in a back pedal. Oftentimes, this year's athletic group has been putting the pedal to the metal. And when they've had to show their mettle, the Sixers have demonstrated they can win anywhere. Tonight, the 76ers find themselves in a place where they can begin to stake that claim. On a stage as brightly lit as any in professional sports, the 2009 NBA playoffs.
For the second time in 10 years, the 76ers tonight open a playoff series here in Orlando. Tonight will also mark their second straight appearance in the NBA's postseason tournament. They will take on the NBA's leading rebounder and shot blocker and self-proclaimed Superman, Dwight Howard. Andre Iguodala and the 76ers hope they have the kryptonite necessary to pull off the upset. Tonight, Game 1, Round 1 between the 3rd and 6th seeds in the East. Comcast Sportsnet presents in high definition NBA basketball live from Amway Arena. Join us as the Sixers take on the Orlando Magic. Good evening to you and welcome to the 2009 NBA playoffs. I'm Mark Sumata. Last year against Detroit, the 76ers returning to the playoffs for the first time in 3 years. Now they're back here in the postseason. They hope that experience is enough to propel them to what would be a stunning upset of the Orlando Magic. Tonight we're here in Orlando. The Sixers will have to sit around and play Game 2 on Wednesday. Games 3 and 4 Friday and Sunday at the Wachovia Center. The most important thing you have to need to know there is the fact that the first 4 games will be on Comcast Sportsnet. Bob, tell me, what do the Sixers have to do to pull off the stunning upset?
Well, one of the things they have to do is they have to get their 4 key players involved and get them involved when the Orlando Magic know exactly what they're capable of doing. Andre Iguodala and Andre Miller will be expected to score and be playmakers, and the Orlando Magic know that those are the 2 key guys to stop if they want to stop the 76ers. 2 youngsters, Thaddeus Young and Lou Williams, will have to step their games up as well to score more than they did during the regular season. But Andre Iguodala, Sixer fans know exactly what he can do. Ask Yao Ming just how spectacular he is in the open floor, his leaping ability, his ability to finish plays. Andre Miller, as crafty as it gets at the point guard position, able to use his body, use his shoulders, knife himself to the rim. He's a big key offensively for the 76ers, the youngsters. Thaddeus Young is going to be the guy he's been all prior to the injury. Get out in the open floor. And this is grow-up time. One, Lou Williams. Lou Williams has grown tremendously. Grown to have to see him score at the basket. Mark, the Orlando Magic know exactly what the Sixers are capable of, and in a playoff setting, it's going to be difficult. All 4 of those guys are going to have to step their game up.
Magic, of course, a team that they present problems on the inside as well as the outside. With more on that, let's turn our attention to D-line.
Well, Mark, we cannot say that the Magic are a one-trick pony. They have so many weapons, and you're right. It starts inside with Dwight Howard, and then they go outside with their many, many shooters. Dwight Howard leads the team in scoring, rebounding, and shot blocking. Hidou Turkoglu averaging 17 points. He did sprain his ankle, though, last weekend. Rashard Lewis made 223s in the regular season, and Rafer Alston came to Orlando in a February trade after the Magic lost Jameer Nelson for the season. Dwight Howard, as I mentioned, almost 3 blocks per game, and he does shoot the highest field goal percentage in the league. Rashard Lewis, deadly from outside. He shoots almost 40% from behind the arc. Hidou Turkoglu, not far behind him. He shoots 36% from long range. And Rafer Alston, while he is not Jameer Nelson, he is able to get to the rim. He plays with great energy. and he does think pass first. Mark, we say so much about Orlando's offensive game that sometimes we forget they are also the third best defensive team in the NBA.
Only 23 years old, a three-time All-Star, making his third straight playoff appearance. Dwight Howard of the Magic hosts the 76ers in Game 1, Round 1 of the NBA playoffs. The Sixers hoping to be the fourth road team to win the opener of their playoff series. The action on Comcast Sportsnet is coming up next. Brought to you by Mainline Health. Jameer Nelson, crushing blow to the Magic. One of 3 All-Stars. Jameer unable to play in the midseason game because of a torn right labrum suffered in early February. The St. Joe's product having surgery on that shoulder about a week or so later.
How about his numbers through 42 games? 50% from the floor, 45 from 3, 89 from the line, 226 assists and 83 turnovers. You think they miss him?
Absolutely. For Alston, while a capable point guard, I don't think the kind of player that Jameer Nelson is or was when he was healthy. Thaddeus Young, count it, and a foul. It's going to be on Rashard Lewis. Give Thaddeus one more at the stripe.
And Thaddeus Young showing his maturity. Little face up, put it on the floor. And Lewis playing him to spin. Stays with the left hand, gets himself to the middle of the floor, uses his body. Look at his focus in his eyes, all through the contact. Eyes on the rim the entire time. Nice finish.
And if the Sixers had any jitters early, they're gone.
Gone. Right into it, into the flow of the game. Now you're in a playoff game tied at 11.
Young, of course, missing those 7 straight with the ankle. Was on a tear before that. Alston, that's for 3. Again, you'll give him that. Alston, just a 34% three-point shooter. Sixers trying to run. Young, and a foul. Sixers their first lead. One more at the line for Thaddeus.
And you can hear Tony DeLeo on the sidelines when Andre Iguodala gets the ball. Run, run, run. Push the ball, push the ball. On the rebound, Iguodala secures it. Gets it up the floor and now in attack mode. Look how quickly Iguodala gets that ball into the front court. Thaddeus filling that lane. And now an opportunity for the three-point play.
Sixers, of course, built to run, but the big question is, during the playoffs, can you?
Well, you're going to have to do it off defensive rebounds, block shots, or turnovers. 76ers are going to have to generate a boatload of those to get themselves out on the open floor.
Thaddeus now with 7 here in the first quarter. Open lead. Will take their chances with him as well, the rookie from Western Kentucky. Two-guard spot has been a tough one to fill for the Magic this year. They did go out and sign Michael Petrus, but he hasn't been the answer. Hence the rookie Lee. That's Miller drilling it. And the Sixers on quite a run here in the first quarter. Their lead built to 5.
Stan Van Gundy not liking what he's seeing from the Sixers here early, calling a timeout.
Indeed, an 11-3 push by the Sixers just past the halfway point of the first quarter. And after a slow start, they lead the Magic by 5, 16-11. We'll take a timeout in this game 1, round 1. Sports, yes. Drama, you better believe it. The playoffs, the Flyers, a big game today. The 76ers, of course. Phillies, drama at Citizens Bank Park. All of it coming up tonight at 10 o'clock on Sports Night, Toyota Sports Night, right here on Comcast Sportsnet. D-Lanham, what do you got?
Well, Mark, if the Sixers down the stretch of the regular season were accused of really struggling on the defensive end of the floor, and a lot of it they said was because their communication was lacking. That was as animated and as much talking as I've ever seen in one of the Sixers huddles. I know they have worked on a lot of different defensive schemes to keep the Orlando Magic on their toes, but they're really doing a great job of talking to one another.
Dee and Bob, you sensed in the locker room beforehand the Sixers were focused, confident, loose, but focused.
No question about that, and focused on the 2 best three-point shooters, leaving Lee and Alston open.
That time they double up on Howard, who has the Lee miss. He got away with a walk, and it'll be a foul on Dalembert. Thought he shuffled his feet. For Sammy, it'll be number 2.
And Howard did get away with a little shuffle inside.
Foul number 1, Samuel Dalembert.
This will be Samuel Dalembert's second foul. Again, open in the corner, Lee, by design by the 76ers. Tough bounce, can't secure the rebound. Little hop step underneath the basket, and Dalembert committing his second foul, but only the first foul that he's taken on Howard. The other was on a drive to the basket.
Sammy, no doubt, will come out with Theo Ratliff coming on for the first time. Theo, the bulk of his playing time this season coming towards the end of the regular season as Dallenberg sits with 2 personals and 5 rebounds. Of course, Theo Ratliff and Aaron McKee holdovers from that 98-99 season. The lockout shortened 50-game season where the Sixers took on the Orlando Magic and beat them, upset them in the first round of the playoffs. And that year, the Magic a 3 seed and the Sixers a number 6, just like this year.
And again, that year was tough to tell, only playing 50 games during the regular season. Some teams got hot late. Playoffs were interesting that season because you couldn't really tell in a 50-game season who was good and who wasn't.
Iguodala still scoreless. Of course, I recall that building was electric, and an opportunity for you to make the Wachovia Center electric Friday and Sunday when the Sixers come running in for the playoffs as Iguodala throws it in reverse, getting his first points of this game, and the Sixers their largest lead at 6.
And that's how you run, off the turnover, quick chest pass up the floor. No one's going to catch Iguodala.
So now Ratliff to use his smarts on Dwight Howard. There's Theo way out on the shooter Turkoglu. They are really running at Turkoglu here as Ratliff is called for the foul.
Mark, you asked how are the 76ers going to get out on the break into playoffs. Our safe auto minimum coverage is the defensive coverage by Andre Miller. The deflection that leads to the fast break. How do you run? Turn the ball over, get the ball up the floor, get it to Andre Iguodala.
Sixers with 5 fast break points already. Times 4 would be 20. That's a healthy total for a playoff game for sure.
No question. That's a healthy total for a regular season game. As Howard gets across the lane to the left hand.
So while the Magic 1 of 5 from beyond, Howard, the guy who was hauling the load, he's got 8.
But again, if Howard's going to go to the free throw line, if Howard has to score the ball in one-on-one coverage, Lewis and Turkoglu are not going to get open looks from the three-point line.
Iguodala with double vision. Try to unload to Miller, and the Sixers end up turning it over. Fortunately for them, for the first time, Sixers that average during the regular season in terms of taking care of the ball. The Magic, they don't force a lot of turnovers.
No, they don't. They don't get out and guard you, but they play that earned field goal type half-court defense. You see Petrus checking in for Turkoglu.
And Turkoglu, remember, not 100%. In fact, he missed the last 2 regular season games with a sprained left ankle. He says that ankle's still a little bit sore. In fact, allowing his ankles to be taped, he says, for the first time in his NBA career. Austin nearly twirled it in. Lewis crashing. To the floor it goes. Here's Miller. Lee trying to stifle him in the backcourt. Nothing doing. Fans looking for a walk on Miller. Whistles are silent. Howard doubling up Miller, not allowing him to post Alston. It's a green 3, unable to make them pay, and Howard wraps up another rebound, his 5th. Alston again getting inside, and Howard ensured the bucket as he slams for 2 of his 10, and he's got 6 rebounds already. So in the pick your poison mode, while the Sixers are limiting the Magic's 3-point shooting, Howard has been devastating inside as Willie Green answers at the other end for his first bucket.
And again, if you have to pick something, Sixers have picked, let's let Howard try and get it going.
That time Young bumping Lewis on the floor. Personal Thaddeus Young, his first.
His first penalty situation in effect. Magic
winning 59 games this year, their 2nd straight Southeast Division title, and the 59 victories, 7 more than last year, and actually just won off the franchise high of 60 back in 95-96. That whole Shaq, Penny, Nick Anderson group
that went to the NBA Finals.
The year before, they were eliminated in the conference finals that year. Michael Jordan got in the way then, remember?
Right before his little baseball hiatus. Sent the Magic packing. It's amazing. That seems like yesterday. My goodness, that was 13 years ago.
Fun times when you're having a good fly.
That's what the Frog said.
Been a good one so far. The Sixers, after a slow start. Theo Ratliff. A rebound to Petrus, his 6th year for the nation of France. There goes Willie Green tumbling to the wood, and we have a timeout.
Philadelphia timeout.
with 2:39 to play. The foul's going to be on Willie. Sixers with a 3-point advantage, though Dwight Howard's been a real man so far for the Magic here in the first quarter of this Game 1, Round 1. '76ers and the Orlando Magic at the Wachovia Center. It's the NBA playoffs. If you've never seen an NBA playoff game, now is the time. The 76ers here are the first 9 minutes, 21 seconds, showing they are not going to back down from the heavily favored Orlando Magic. Be there. Something amazing just might happen. Tickets available, and they start at just $15. Call 215-339-7676 or go to Sixers.com. Hey, and come early. It's the 2009 playoff block party. Great food, live entertainment, and a lot of fun, all presented by Bud Light. You can come as early as 3 hours before the start of the game. And Game 3 scheduled for 8 o'clock. Game 4 Sunday at 6:30. Once again, that Game 3 will be Friday at 8 o'clock. And if you can't make it out, of course, we'll have all the action for you of the 2009 NBA playoffs right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Funny thing about the Magic, they shoot a lot of threes, but they end up shooting a lot of free throws as well.
Well, I think that's due directly because of one Dwight Howard that you can throw the ball to in the post if teams are willing to take a foul on because of his poor free throw shooting. But you're right, that's a unique combination. A team that shoots a lot of perimeter shots and still able to get to the line. Look no further than Dwight Howard.
Rafer Alston, the Magic 19-9 with him as a starter. That's 68%, though the Magic at 72% all told during the regular season. One of 4 teams in the NBA to play 700 ball or better. Cleveland, the Lakers, Boston, the others. And in fact, against those 3, the Magic this year, 6-3. So this a team to be reckoned with, as Andre Miller's not backing down from anybody. He is 4 of 5. He's got 8 and 5 boards here in the first quarter.
Sees the advantage at that point guard position, taking advantage here in the first.
Lou Williams for the first time. They double up on Howard. Not an especially good passer. Alston rushing the 3. And we have a call here against the Magic. Looks to be against Dwight Howard.
It was. Howard that time got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. He had Ratliff's arm pinned as he tried to get around that block out on the miss from the corner. Good call that time by the officials. Nice job by Ratliff, keeping Howard off the offensive glass.
Alston stepping off, and the 12-year veteran Anthony Johnson with a wealth of playoff experience in for the first time. Sixers holding 3. Young aggressively on Lewis, had it knocked away to the floor. Howard, I thought he lost it, but apparently last touched by the Sixers, and the Magic will take possession.
Time Thaddeus did a nice job of beating his primary defender Lewis off the dribble. After he got by Lewis, there was one Dwight Howard looming at the basket.
Hedo Turkoglu is back. Lewis taking a rest. The rookie Courtney Lee goes off, and for the first time, the 11-year veteran Tony Battie has come in. So happy you could join us tonight from Orlando. 2009 NBA playoffs. That time Howard apparently was shoved by the Sixers' Thaddeus Young, and for Thaddeus, it'll be personal number 2.
Thaddeus upset. Did he push, or did Howard mistime the jump?
That's what I thought.
And Thaddeus gets a little bit of arm there on the way up. Howard mistiming the jump, still gets the call. And now gets 2 free throws.
So a guy's got 8 points, and clearly the Sixers rely a lot on Thaddeus Young to haul a good part of the offensive load. Of course, he is a very good two-way player, and now they lose his services, and with him goes a lot of the scoring, especially when you replace him with Reggie Evans.
Interesting that the 76ers trying to take fouls on Howard. The wrong guys have taken the fouls. Thaddeus picking up 2, Dallamer picking up 2, and giving themselves early trips to the bench.
Dwight Howard, 5th in the league right out of high school. 3-time All-Star, including his role as a starter the last 2 years. In fact, this year, the #1 vote getter. A record of over 3 million votes coming his way.
And deserved votes, no question. He has had a breakout season. And I credit one Patrick Ewing, assistant coach for Orlando. Spent a lot of time working on him. Patrick was a great offensive center, trying to impart some of that to Dwight Howard.
Of course, that smile and persona he has, that certainly didn't hurt his campaigning either. That time Iguodala fouled en route to the hoop.
Foul number 15, Ito
Turkoglu, the personal. Patrick Ewing, an assistant coach for the Magic. Still wants to be a head coach in the NBA, but he is in many ways a personal coach to Dwight Howard.
If he were talking to me about post moves, I'd be like E.F. Hutton, no question. I'd be all ears. I'd be paying attention. One of the true greats to play the center position. That fadeaway jump shot on that left block, almost unstoppable.
Ito Turkoglu back to the bench, though this time with 2 personal fouls. The rookie Courtney Lee is back. That's a Lou Williams 3, and down it goes. And Lou Williams saying before the game, the nerves, they went out last year. This year, much different vibe for him personally, as that time the offensive foul is called on Petrus. The contact absorbed by the Sixers' Andre Iguodala.
One of the things that can happen when you play the type of defense the 76ers are trying to play is over the span of a series, over the span of a game, you can frustrate players with your ball pressure. Andre Iguodala frustrates Petrus with the pressure. Petrus pushes him to the floor, picks up the offensive foul.
Sixers have hit 4 of their last 7 and shooting over 52% against a very good defensive team here in the first quarter of their opening round series. And Andre Iguodala, once he got that easy bucket on the slam moments ago, hopefully the floodgates open for him. That time hitting the jumper, the second bucket for 4. There's Lee denied by Ratliff. Johnson got it. Anthony Johnson, 12 years in the league and 80 games of playoff experience coming into this one.
But again, another player that you don't feel uncomfortable leaving open on the perimeter. The three-point guard experiment that replaced Jameer Nelson, shooting 40% career in the playoffs.
Got a 6-second difference here between the clocks. Williams trying to bust a move on the taller Courtney Lee. That is Lou Williams, and that's part of his maturity. The shot fake with the shot clock running down, getting the rookie lead to bite, and 2 at the line for Lou Williams.
How about Lou Williams and Marie Spates in an interview in the pre-playoff show on Comcast, talking about the leadership? How about a 22-year-old telling Marie Spates what the playoffs were all about? That's amazing to me that he's shown that much growth that quickly, and has come out here in game 1, knocking down a 3, and now two more free throws.
Williams among the NBA leaders off the bench and getting to the stripe, averaging a career high of just under 13 during the regular season, though this year for some reason did not shoot particularly well against the Magic, just 29% in the 3-game series, and he misses both at the line. Still time for the Magic. Sixers do not have a foul to give. Johnson got all the way in and he slammed. You wonder how that happened, as that will end this first quarter.
Well, the reason that happens is because Dwight Howard, the left block. You take a body off Dwight Howard, it's going to be a dunk. Theo Ratliff trying to stay connected. Stays connected a hair too long, and Anthony gets all the way to the rim. Lou Williams on the free throw. Misses, long rebound, tipped out. Now Johnson looking to go coast to coast, but watch coming right down the middle of your screen. Theo Ratliff has a decision to make. Take a body off Howard too soon. Howard gets a dunk. Don't take a body off, and Anthony Johnson gets to the rim.
Other than that, a terrific first quarter for the Sixers, shooting 54.5%. They lead by a deuce. The second quarter of this game 1, round 1 of the playoffs, coming up next.
76ers basketball is brought to you by Acura. Acura. Advance. Safe Auto. Minimum coverage for minimum budgets. Call 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. And by your Quality Plus Ford dealers.
The Amway Arena here in Orlando, the home of the Magic for one more year. That'll be next year before they move into a brand new basketball palace. That would be Stuff the Magic Dragon here in Orlando. A lot of 76er connections with this franchise. Pat Williams, former 76er GM, brought down to help establish the Magic here in Orlando. Well, the Lakers got our Sunday schedule going. That's a 1 versus 8, and the Lakers beating the Jazz to go up 1 game to none in that playoff series. That said, 3 of the 4 winners yesterday were road dogs.
And don't think the 76ers weren't watching that with great interest. If you take a look at what the Sixers have done in the first quarter here, Mark, mission accomplished from a strategy standpoint. Yes, Howard has 12 points. Yes, he's 4 for 5 from the floor. But Hedo Turkoglu hasn't attempted a 3, and Rashad Lewis is 0 for 1 from 3. That's exactly what the 76ers wanted to do. Play 4 more quarters like that, you win by 8.
So the Sixers a solid showing here in the first quarter. Renew your season tickets now. Attention, all you season ticket holders, do not wait. Visit Sixers.com and see all the new and improved benefits and flexible payment options. The 76ers, you're going to see one exciting playoff series. And when you consider the youth, the young players like Lou Williams, Thaddeus Young, Andre Iguodala, what a bright future the Sixers have. Secure that seat for next year now. Contact your Sixers renewal representative by calling the sales department at 215-339-7676. 215-339-7676. Along with D. Lonham and Bob Salmi. Mark Zumov tonight here on Comcast Sportsnet, home for Sixers basketball. We'll have the first 4 games at least of this playoff series here on Comcast Sportsnet. Williams open for 3, got it again. So Lou Williams, a pair of 3s here in the first half, and the Sixers drawing first blood in that second quarter.
He wasn't lying when he said he was going to come out aggressive. He made 2 threes in the entire series against the Pistons last year, has made 2 in the first half here already.
Ironically, Williams during the regular season just 29% from beyond. Courtney Lee averaging just over 8 in about 25 minutes during the regular season, hitting his first shot in 5 tries. So it's Williams with Ivy, Spates for the first time, the rookie, along with Evans and Iguodala. It's an Andre Iguodala 3, and that went through the legs of Petit and out of bounds. And the trailing official, I think he got the call wrong. I think the Magic hit it last.
Petit hit it right through his own legs. Reggie Evans is right. Loose ball on the floor. Andre Iguodala's going to rise up from the corner, and on the loose ball situation, Petit's going to come up with it and then knock it right through his own legs. Officials missed one there.
Yeah, the baseline official didn't have the call, missed it. The guy in the so-called slot on the other side of the floor forced to make the call, and he rules in favor of the Magic. Reese Spates, no nerves before this one. University of Florida. People coming from St. Petersburg, family and friends to watch him here. The Sixers lose it out of bounds. Spates, a solid rookie season, to say the least.
Solid rookie season in his first playoff action, but it's go time for the 76ers right now. Not one single starter on the floor for the Orlando Magic.
Johnson with Courtney Lee in the backcourt. Petit, and for the first time, Marcin Gortat, second-year player from Poland, along with Pietrus. Andre Iguodala right now the only starter for the Sixers. And he is fouled up top by Pietrus. For Pietrus, that'll be his second. Ironically, he came in for Hedo Turkoglu, who is on the bench right now, and in fact scoreless with 2 personal fouls.
Drive that ball. That's what Tony DeLeo talked to his team about this morning at that meeting. Put the ball on the floor, try and make things happen, try and get to the free throw line.
Sixers 6th in the NBA at getting to the line, averaging about 27 free throws per game. Spates taking Petit number. Out of bounds. As touched by the 76ers.
And again, I'm not sure about that one. As Tony DeLeo up arguing, did Anthony Johnson knock that one out of bounds? Sixers can't catch a break on loose balls going out of bounds under their own basket.
Orlando, great home record, as you might imagine, being the 4th best team in the NBA, 32-9 during the regular season. And throughout their franchise history, and this is their 20th anniversary season, quite frankly, the Sixers have not won many games in this building. Nice move by Lee, the rookie from Western Kentucky, late first-round pick last year after 4 full seasons with the Hilltoppers. Makes it a 1-point game. Iguodala, while the scoring has to fall on his shoulders. There is Evans trying to loosen the grip, and Reggie was found in the act. He'll get 2 at the line.
Foul number 8, Anthony Johnson.
And this is where Reggie Evans' power takes over. Anthony Johnson thought he had that loose ball on the floor. Evans, first player to get 2 hands on it, goes right up through all the contact and gets himself 2 free throws.
Foul on Johnson, his first.
Reggie Evans at the line, shooting 2.
Sixers with their 41 wins, marking their second straight year of improvement. This is their second consecutive appearance in the playoffs, losing last year to Detroit in 6 games. But remember, Sixers won the season opener, or the series opener at Detroit. And then after the Pistons won Game 2, they won Game 3 at home at the Wachovia Center. And in Game 4, they led that contest by 10 at halftime. Then the Pistons went to work and went on to win the series.
Took the Pistons a while to wake up in that series. Sixers up 2.5 to none in that series. Looking to make that same jump here in Orlando by stealing Game 1.
Royale Ivey off the miss by Evans. So Reggie making 1 of 2. And the Sixers running a small lineup, 3 guards with Ivey, Miller back in, replacing Iguodala and Williams. Williams, nice look inside, and a beautiful finish by Royale Ivey on a nice spot by Lou.
Good turn down at the 3-point line. Williams gets in the paint, finds his teammate.
Sixers nearly 52% shooting, and with the game's best shot blocker out there, opportunities for the Sixers to get some easy hoops. But the Sixers are blitzing Turkoglu at every opportunity. Courtney Lee in the meantime left open, and after missing his first 4 has hit 3 straight from the floor. Now he's got 6.
And again, in a playoff setting, you have to pick your poison. Right now the 76ers picking Lee as the one player they want to leave open.
Marcin Gortat, 6'11", 240. The rebound of the Miller miss. Turkoglu that time fouled on the floor by Royale Ivey. Take a timeout. We are early in the second. 76ers, after a slow start, albeit in a tight game, playing the front runners here in Orlando.
We welcome you back to Amway Arena. Game 1 of these NBA playoffs. Philadelphia 76ers leading the Magic by 2 here in the second quarter. We mentioned earlier that 10 years ago, these two teams met in the postseason as well. The Sixers were a 6 seed, the Magic were a 3 seed, and here are some of the highlights of that series back then. Remember George Lynch? We loved it. He took his lunch pail to work, worked so hard down low. Tyrone Hill, a member of that squad as well. That team liked to get out on the fast break. Larry Hughes, the finisher at the rim. Matt Geiger was actually the team's second leading scorer at 13.5 that season. And obviously Allen Iverson. He was in his 3rd season. He averaged almost 27 points a game that regular season. And in the postseason, in Game 3, set then an NBA record with 10 steals. He also had 33 points in that one. The Sixers winning the best-of-5 series against the Magic back in 1999. 3-1, and then, Mark, unfortunately, they went on to play the Indiana Pacers and were swept by Indiana in the second round. But that was Larry. Well, Aaron McKee was obviously a part of that team as well. That was Larry Brown's 2nd season coaching the Sixers, and it really started what would be a great couple of years with Allen Iverson, Larry Brown, and getting the Sixers back in postseason play.
Aaron McKee off the bench for that team. Theo Ratliff, the starting center, brought over in a trade. In fact, both were brought over in that same Jerry Stackhouse trade from the Detroit Pistons. Sixers actually setting the tone for that series by winning Game 1 here in Orlando, and after a split in this arena, the Sixers in that Game 3. Sixers' first home playoff game in 8 years. And I've never been around as Lee got it and a foul on Spates. I've never been around for a volcano eruption, but that was a 2.5-hour eruption. That's how loud that building was for that entire game.
But it shows you just how passionate 76er fans are about their teams when their teams start to get it together and start to make pushes in the playoffs. But right now, Lee, and an adjustment made by Stan Van Gundy, recognizing that Lee's the guy that's open. High pick and roll for him, trying to get him to the rim, get him to the free throw line. These are those adjustments we talk about, those in-game adjustments, recognizing how a team's playing you and coming out of timeout, trying to change things.
Thanks to Lee, the Magic their first lead since it was 11-8, but it's short-lived as Williams drills it. Lou hasn't missed, 3 of 3 for 8, and we're on the seesaw now with the Sixers up 1. is Lee, and Miller trailing him. Courtney Lee's got it going on here in this second quarter.
Well, in the absence of Howard, the 76ers are going to have to do a better job in the big positions of coming to help. Either Spates or Evans going to have to help on that drive.
Lee, his first ever playoff experience in this game, has got 11 as Williams threw up the prayer and it went unanswered. Here's Turkoglu giving it up. Anthony floor and laying it in.
76ers right now allowing the Magic to push back in the game with Dwight Howard on the bench.
He's off it. He's coming back. Spates about to limit to his range. Rebound to Lee, who's doing it all. In fact, he's got all 11 of his points in the quarter. Gortat, pass deflected out of bounds, and the Magic will keep it here with 14 to shoot.
Back to the Magic, number 9, Rashad.
So Howard and Lewis, the leading and second leading scorers, respectively, on the season for the Magic, are in. T and Gortat take a break. Andre Iguodala, who led the entire NBA not only in minutes per game but total minutes played, is back in for the Sixers. Ivy takes a break. Evans denying Johnson, who thought he was fouled. Whistles are silent. Here are the Sixers down 3. Miller open. Miller saw Howard looming, and he wisely backs it out. Spates wants Lewis. Miller has the veteran Johnson on him. Williams already with a pair of threes. That'll be for 2, and for Lou, he has missed 2 straight after hitting his first 3. Turkoglu in a scrap with Evans. Howard winning out. Magic 7 to shoot. Williams knocked it away, stole it. Iguodala, brilliant play for Spates, can't catch up with it, and in fact it goes out of bounds. But all the right ideas right there. Just a little bit too far for Maurice Spates. Take a timeout. 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go in this second quarter. Courtney Lee pulling a large load for the Orlando Magic here in the second quarter. All right, so you're watching this game and you have a question or a comment. Why is Tony DeLeo doing this? Why are the Sixers not doing this? Well, you can chat online during the game with Sixers analyst John Celestin. Log on now to csnphilly.com and chat with John Celestin and other Sixers fans. Don't forget, when you go to the website, the keyword is Sixers Chat.
We've talked about awards all season long. John Celestin gets Rookie of the Year award on the Comcast post-game show. Done an excellent job all season long for the 76ers.
Speaking of rookies, Courtney Lee with 11 of the Magic's 13 here in this second quarter. Poll question: what's the most important thing for the 76ers in their playoff series for the Magic? Containing Dwight Howard, containing Orlando's three-point shooting, getting out of the fast break, or being more physical? Text your answer now to 749-377. That's 749-377 to weigh in on the AT&T poll question.
It's interesting. That's a great question, because someone would say, well, why can't you do all 4? That's why the Orlando Magic won 59 games, because you have to pick one of those things in order to beat the Orlando Magic, because you can't stop them from doing all 4.
Here now the Magic out of the timeout. Rafer Alston is back, joining the red-hot Courtney Lee. Funny, we haven't been talking about Courtney Lee leading up to this game.
He wasn't in our open, was he?
Lewis, a guy we've been talking about, only 3 points, taking Iguodala. Theo Ratliff back into the game. So the Magic shooters clearly kept in check Turkoglu and Lewis, most specifically. With 5 and change to go here in the first half, the Sixers leading by as many as 6 are down 3. Howard looming and up to dissuade Iguodala. A great find, and I mean great, off the double team of Theo Ratliff.
Threw it low, bounced it low, the only place he could go without Howard getting a hand on it.
And not an easy catch for a big guy, ankle high like that.
Good pass, good catch, good finish.
Turkoglu still scoreless, a guy who averaged about 17 points per game during the regular season. The Sixers looking to go in front. See the Orlando strategy to double up on Miller, giving it up to Iguodala, charging in, and he throws it in reverse. His second reverse slam of the game.
That pass cross court by Miller just about grazed the rim, just missed the rim, found Iguodala in the weak side corner. Iguodala gets it to the rim.
Andre with 6. The foul here on Lou Williams of the Sixers, and for Lou is first.
Our Dodge drive of the game starts with a pass that just goes right by the front of the rim. Shot fake, drive it back. Our Dodge drive of the game. Andre Iguodala, one of the best finishers in the game. We talked pregame. Just ask Yao Ming how good he is at finishing at the rim.
Iguodala with a great dunk on Yao earlier this year at Houston. A major slam. Boy, look at Ratliff banging away with Howard. What are you going to do?
Yeah, good job by Howard to maintain his body position. Takes the first hit, takes the second hit, and then finishes with a left-hand jump hook.
Samuel Dalembert only 6 minutes in this game before picking up a second personal foul. Only one of those dealing with Howard. Iguodala in rhythm for 2.
Iguodala coming off screens. Iguodala driving the ball. Iguodala making plays. Iguodala making a statement here in the first half.
Back on the seesaw with the Sixers up 1. Howard that time denied. Nice help defense. Miller. Nothing doing on the rebound to Turkoglu. Under 3.5 to play first half. Going to Howard here just about every trip. Ratliff bellies up to him. Courtney Lee, 6'5", 200, a late first-round pick last summer. Again, all 4 years at Western Kentucky, averaged just over 20 as a senior. You want to know about him because he's been devastating to the Sixers here in the second quarter.
And there's a reason he's open, Mark. It's a conscious decision by the 76ers to stay home on Lewis, stay home on Turkoglu, and Lee has taken advantage.
Thaddeus Young is shoved by Rashard Lewis. And for Lewis, it will be his second. Sixers another chance to go in front here with 2:50 to play in the first half. Playoffs? Yep, we're talking playoffs. The Sixers in the postseason for the second consecutive season. This should be quite a series if this first half is any indication. Numerous lead changes, and the Sixers giving the Magic all they can handle. Well, Dwight Howard, Rashard Lewis, and Hedo Turkoglu will be at the Wachovia Center for Game 3 on Friday at 8 o'clock. Game 4 Sunday, tipping off at 6:30 on Friday. All fans are going to get a Sixers t-shirt. And Game 4 Sunday, all fans are getting kryptonite. That's right, kryptonite for every fan. Hey, tickets as little as $15. Call 215-339-7676. That's 215-339-7676. Or visit Sixers.com for more information. Make sure you come early because the playoff block party once again is in full swing. Great food, live entertainment, a lot of fun, all presented by Bud Light. And that block party starts 3 hours before the scheduled tip.
The kryptonite to this point in the game, Mark, has been the 76ers' ability to play single coverage on Dwight Howard. Even though he scored the ball, even though he's been able to get to the free throw line, the team has struggled. Sixers only down by 1.
Courtney Lee, 6 of 6 in this quarter. D. Lonham, who is this guy?
Tony DeLeo said you better get to know him real fast. He obviously said we got to do a better job of closing out on Courtney Lee. You cannot let him just penetrate and get to the rim at will. Obviously, Willie Green is back in, so it will now become his defensive assignment. But he was definitely talked about in that timeout.
One thing I can tell you about Courtney Lee, he wears number 11 in honor of a Philadelphia native, Danny Rumpf. From Parkway High School, played 3 years at Western Kentucky before he died suddenly of cardiac arrest in May 2005. A death that certainly hit everyone at Western Kentucky very hard, and certainly his family and friends. And Courtney Lee, perhaps as hard as anybody, because he helped to show him the ropes there and vice versa. And he honors him to this day in the NBA, and certainly Danny would be very proud of Courtney Lee. That said, he's doing it against the team that we presume Danny grew up rooting for, his hometown 76ers. Dwight Howard and Lee putting on a two-man show. Howard inside for 2 of his 17. So the combination of Howard and Lee with 40 of the Magic's 44 points. I'm sorry, 29 of their points. That's still a lot.
It is a lot. And Iguodala right back to work. But the two guys who haven't scored from the three-point line tonight, the two guys the Sixers have keyed on, Turkoglu and Lewis, without a three here in the first half.
Willie Green back into the contest, one of the Sixers' better defenders. That's an easy one for Howard. Compliments of Rashard Lewis.
But again, 76ers looking at one another, and on the weak side of the floor, Andre Iguodala and Andre Miller. One of them had Turkoglu. One of them had to stay home.
Magic nudge ahead by a bucket. Wait for Alston in for the Magic, in charge of Andre Miller. Thaddeus Young encumbered part of this first half by foul difficulty. Taking on Lewis. Good aggressive move. Rimmed it. Turkoglu still scoreless. Amazing as that sounds. Missing in tight. Ripped away by Iguodala. Turkoglu's taken only 3 shots. Iguodala all the way to the cup, and there's Dwight. Yes, I did lead the NBA in shot blocking during the regular season.
And hung up in the air so long. Watch him put his left hand on the backboard, hold himself in the air, and stay up long enough to knock this out of bounds. Iguodala doesn't see him in the rearview mirror. Howard tracks it down. Puts the left hand up so he doesn't hit his head on the backboard.
Don't count the field goal. Instead, we have a foul on Tony Battie, who's back into the game for the Magic.
And Andre Miller arguing right now that foul occurred before the inbound, and if it did, it's a 2-shot foul. Tony DeLeo asking Danny Crawford, did this foul take place before the ball was inbounded? I think it did.
Miller, an opportunity to post. That opportunity denied by the Howard double team. Iguodala short of Howard. Short on the shot as bodies fly. Petrus to the deck. And a Sixer foul on Reggie Evans.
I think you're getting a taste of just how hungry the 76ers are. On the jump shot here, Andre Miller just going to take Petrus and fire him out of bounds. Contact made. Petrus trying to get to the glass. 76ers trying to get to the offensive boards. The Magic trying to defensive rebound the ball. Something's got to give. Second best defensive rebounding team against the second best offensive rebounding team in the entire league.
Taco Bell halftime report. We'll start things in the Comcast Sportsnet studios. Highlights from the first half. We'll analyze the goings on and all the important stats. Tony Battie, not known for scoring. That said, unloaded for 20 at the Wachovia Center. And a regular season victory for the Magic when Dwight Howard was foul difficulty. In fact, tied a franchise record in that game, going 9 of 9 from the floor as Andre Miller connects, joining Iguodala in double figures, each with 10.
Such a big bucket right there by Miller. Looked like it might have gotten away from the 76ers after playing a good half. Big basket cuts that lead back to 2.
And about a 7-second difference here between the clocks. Alston getting open, and he hit it. Great for Alston, just his second bucket in 7 tries. And one of the few Magic players, other than Howard and Lee, to score here in the second quarter, which is 6 seconds from coming to a close. Willie Green, can he get it off? He did, not in, and that'll do it. Tony DeLeo's 76ers, who led by 2 at the end of 1 quarter, find themselves down 4 at the end of the opening half as the Magic close on an 8-4 run to lead it by the 4-point spread here at the Amway Arena.
76ers did a nice job on that man right there, playing him single coverage, but Lee surprised them with a big first half.
Halftime on Comcast Sportsnet. Game 1, round 1. The Magic 50, the 76ers 46. The Taco Bell halftime show coming up right after this. The 2009 NBA playoffs on Comcast Sportsnet are being brought to you by Chevy. Find your nearest dealer on ChevyDealer.com. By the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Must be 18 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. And by Mainline Health, official healthcare partner of the 76ers. Sixers down 4. Waning moments of halftime here at Amway Arena. It is 50-46 right now, the Magic. Right now, D. Lynam in conversation with 76ers team president Ed Stefanski. Denise?
Thanks very much, Mark. Ed Stefanski with us. And I said so far so good, and I love the way you guys came out patient and really did what you wanted to do.
Well, we had a lot of energy, and we played very we've been there before, and I think we showed that early in the young kids. I thought Thaddeus was good. He picked up the second foul, and then Andre Iguodala. Miller was terrific. Courtney Lee, 13 points in the second quarter. He's the guy. We're taking away the threes. They only have 1 3, so can we keep that up? You know, they can get off at any time.
And playoff basketball is all about like a chess match, and really it starts with the first half. You come in the locker room. What do you expect out of Orlando in the second half, just having seen how the first half went?
Yeah, well, I think they'll try to get a little bit more firepower out of Turk Lou and Rashard Lewis. We've done a real nice job. We gave up 18 points to the big guy, but that's okay. So I think Stan will try to do something to get more shots, and I know he's probably not happy with, he feels their energy defensively hasn't been good, but it's been a real good first half.
Ed, thanks so much for your time. Playoff basketball continues. Right now, we send it back over to Mark.
All right, D and Ed Stefanski, thank you so much. Now a check of the halftime stats.
Field goal percentage, 76ers at 46, Magic at 51, but that three-point percentage, like Ed Stefanski talked about, one made three-pointer from a team that made 33 in 3 games against the 76ers. Nice job of finding Lewis. Nice job of finding Turkoglu. Bench points for the 76ers. Sixers getting a nice boost from Lou Williams off the bench. 8 of those 13. Sixers doing a nice job of moving the ball. And points in the paint. Sixers holding their own as Dwight Howard, a huge reason. 18 of those 26 points in the paint coming from Dwight Howard inside.
76ers with a lead as large as 6. The Magic by as many as 5. 8 lead changes and 4 ties in that first half. D. Lynam, weigh in as we get set for the start of tonight's second half.
Well, obviously, Tony DeLeo thought that first half, in particular the first quarter, was very good for his team. He thought in the second quarter he put the Magic on the foul line a little too often, and obviously Courtney Lee getting off was not something he wanted to see and doesn't want to see in the second half. When it comes to Courtney Lee, he said you just got to make him into a jump shooter. You got to stay in front of him. He said, you know, Dwight Howard's 18. We said we were going to have to live with something, and he said that's what we lived with, and obviously holding them to just one made three-pointer was good, but he's expecting them to adjust, and they will have to do the same.
All right, Dee, thank you so much. Dee on the sidelines for this game, and then she'll be in the Sixer locker room after the game. She'll be getting post-game reaction. Meantime, in the studio, Ron Burke, along with Gerald Henderson and John Celestin. We're all talking about Dodge Presents Sixers post-game live. We'll cover this game one for you well after the game concludes as Dodge Presents Sixers post-game live right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Tony DeLeo, his first ever playoff game. He was 5 games above 500 in his 59 games as the head coach during the regular season from mid-December on. And although Tony DeLeo has held a number of different front office positions with these Sixers, he was a terrific head coach on the pro level. Both the men and the women in the country that was then West Germany had 9 titles in their top division. And now after a fine performance by his team over the opening 24 minutes, he deals with the inevitable adjustments. And one of the things that Ed Stefanski talked about was the Magic trying to get their 2 primary three-point shooters going, Hedo Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis.
Well, I don't know how they do that if the 76ers do exactly what they did to those 2 in the first half. Only 1 clean look from 3. Rashard Lewis got it, and he missed that open look. But to give those 2 extremely dangerous three-point shooters only 1 look in the first half, mission accomplished. A minor adjustment on the part of Tony DeLeo, the adjustment to keep Courtney Lee out of the paint. Courtney Lee took full advantage of the fact that the 76ers were guarding Howard in the paint and staying connected to those 2 on the three-point line.
Tiger Woods in attendance here in Orlando, taking in NBA playoff basketball. We are so happy you are taking in this game on Comcast Sportsnet. 76ers, 3rd all-time in NBA history and playoff appearances. Lakers and the Boston Celtics, the only NBA teams to have appeared in the NBA postseason more times. And for Andre Iguodala. It is his third playoff appearance, having appeared as a rookie. And last year, both times against the Detroit Pistons. Said he learned after last year, shooting only 33%, not to force things. And actually his mantra during a good part of this regular season was to take things slower. And he has certainly done so. And he has met with some success here in the first half, shooting 5 of 12 for his 10 points. That'll go as a traveling violation on Andre Miller to start the second half.
An uncharacteristic mistake by Miller. Sixers come out first play of the second half. Miller looking to make just a routine pass to the weak side of the floor. No one coming to the weak side. Miller turns the ball over.
Magic shooting 63% in that second quarter, which they won by 6, along with D. Lonham and Bob Salmi. Mark Zumov tonight with this third quarter underway. The Magic their first possession. Young in charge of Lewis. Lee did a lot of damage in that second quarter with a miss. And Samuel Dalembert in limited playing time, wrapping up his 6th rebound.
Think about what Stan Van Gundy's doing. It's taking Lewis out of his game. He thinks he has an advantage in the post on Thaddeus Young and is taking him away from the three-point line to try and get Lewis in the post.
Magic running Alston along with the rookie Lee. Turkoglu and Lewis the forwards. Howard in the middle. That is Lewis missing the 3, but unfortunately he was fouled by Willie Green. And thank you so much for joining us tonight for this Game 1, Round 1. Sixers to the Magic, locked up in a good one. Unfortunately now, Lewis at 84% to the line for, count 'em, 3 free throws.
You get an idea just how little airspace Rashard Lewis needs to shoot a three-point shot. Willie Green thought he was close enough, and as he tried to close, made contact. Contact that's going to get Lewis 3 free throws.
So here's Lewis, a guy who led the NBA, averaging 7 threes attempted per game. And in the first half, took exactly 1 and missed it. So not only the Magic missing their threes, but not even getting the looks.
No, not getting the looks. And this is a team that took 850 more threes than their opponents during the season. That's over 10 more a game than their opponents every single game all season long.
2 of 3 for Lewis. All told a 10-4 Magic run going back to that second quarter. And now Orlando its largest lead at 6. Willie Green along with Andre Miller. Dalembert has got it now in the middle. Sammy skipping in and finishing the job. Compliments of Willie Green. And for Dalembert's second field goal for 4. The forwards, of course, Andre Iguodala and Thaddeus Young. Iguodala bellies up to Turkoglu. Turkoglu amazingly scoreless. Alston hitting the 3. So Rafer Alston hitting his second 3 of the contest. He's got 11. So Howard, Lee, and Alston all in double figures for Orlando. They open up their largest lead at 7.
If he's the only guy making threes for the Orlando Magic, I think the Sixers are okay with that.
Iguodala stays outside on Turkoglu and buries the jumper.
And even though Turkoglu's 6'10", he cannot affect Iguodala's jump shot. Iguodala athletically getting in the air to a spot that Turkoglu can't get to.
And Turkoglu playing with a bad wheel. There's that sprained left ankle. Not sure how much that's bothering him. There's Lewis. You mentioned he missed the last 3 of the regular season with right knee tendonitis. So the Magic now getting Lewis going. He's got 7. The pass for Dalembert. Lee, a nice effort, unable to keep it in, however, and the Sixers will keep it here with 14 to shoot.
Here's the $64,000 question. Is a 2 for Lewis better than a 3? Do you let Thaddeus play him on his own in the low post and take the Magic away from one of their strengths by allowing Lewis to post up? Tough call for Tony DeLeo.
Does have a couple of inches on Thaddeus Young. Of course, one of the ways to defend is to make him defend at the other end. Young, though, the miss. Turkoglu that time running into Miller. It'll be 2 at the line for Hedo Turkoglu after he was fouled by Andre Iguodala. So Turkoglu going to the line now for the first time.
And here's why the Magic are good. 5 players behind the three-point line. Now, did Miller get outside the restricted area? Did, but I think the foul occurred from behind. Ball slapped out of the hand by Iguodala from behind. Miller in good position to take a charge. Iguodala has to trust his teammate to take that charge after he gets beat off the dribble.
Well, in fact, the initial call was on Iguodala, but now it is indeed Miller, and for Andre, his second, meaning Miller. Hedo Turkoglu, 81%. It's funny, Turkoglu, Lewis, all good free throw shooters, Lee, but because Howard is so poor and he gets to the line so much, the Magic as a team dead last in the NBA in free throw percentage during the season.
You had a statistics class here. That would be a weighted average. Weighted to the wrong side by Dwight Howard at the line.
Miller open. Howard claims the miss. Howard already a double-double, 18 and 10 boards. He led the NBA in rebounding for the second straight season. Iguodala taking Turkoglu and all comers, and he was fouled en route. It'll be on Dwight Howard.
And a late call by Danny Crawford, but the right call. Howard hands in the back, and I thought contact here by Turkoglu on the left hand. No contact there by Howard. Sixers get a break on the loose ball foul called on Howard.
And for Howard, his second. That time Miller trying to tie up Howard, daring to reach in, and Howard and Miller make contact, and the foul's going to be on Andre Miller, his third.
And this is playful contact here. These two know each other, and this is not mean-spirited in any way, and they're kind of laughing at one another like, yeah, go ahead, big fella. Andre Miller looking like, no, I wasn't really going to fight him. I'll just let him know I didn't appreciate that.
Well, the officials have to think, there's no way that Andre Miller's going to pick a fight with Dwight Howard.
Not a good idea.
Not here, not anytime, playoff game or anywhere.
Right out in the parking lot, it's a bad idea.
Lee perhaps feeling his oats from that second quarter performance where he dropped all 13 of his points. Iguodala romping down at the other end, gets a timely 2. And Iguodala, the Sixers' leading scorer, with 14.
Sixers would like to see more of that. Iguodala rebound the ball, take it coast to coast, use his quickness in the open floor.
Iguodala has taken 15 shots in the game. He's hit 7. And a defensive 3-second violation whistled on the Sixers.
But you see how much pressure Dwight Howard puts on a team defensively. Andre Miller trying to peek from the weak side, never quite got himself outside the lane. Howard in the post on the left side of the floor. All the 76ers peeking from the weak side. He's such a presence in that low post. And you almost have to help when he puts the ball on the floor. And trying to get that jump, sometimes you hang in that lane too long.
So Lewis awakening his offensive game. Ball goes out of bounds, and the Orlando Magic will keep it.
12 to shoot, 12.
Lewis already 5 of his 8 here in the third quarter. For the Magic, their third straight playoff appearance. They lost last year to Detroit in the conference finals. We mentioned their second straight Southeast Division title. Last year claiming a division title for the first time since '96. As Lewis able to get by Willie Green too easily, and Tony DeLeo signaling for and getting the timeout. As the Magic, the better part of play in the second, and thus far here in opening up the 10-point, their largest.
Right now the Magic looking to beat the 76ers off the dribble as the 76ers looking to take away that 3. In the low post, Howard, Samuel Dallenberg connected, stays connected. The Magic able to drive the ball right up his back.
Being here tonight in Orlando reminds us how different and exciting the playoff atmosphere can be. And in fact, the NBA playoffs will move into the Wachovia Center this weekend. Games 3 and 4, Friday and Sunday, respectively. If you've never been to a playoff game, it is something you'll never forget. The intensity, the noise, the enthusiasm, it's all turned up quite a few notches. Game 3 Friday at 8 o'clock. Game 4 Sunday at 6:30. Go to Sixers.com, or better yet, call 215-339-7676. On Friday, all fans getting T-shirts. And on Sunday, all fans getting kryptonite. As the Sixers try to stop Dwight Howard, the self-proclaimed Superman, and the Orlando Magic.
Samuel Dallenberg could use a pocket full of that right now. Dwight Howard, such a tough matchup in the low post. And it really affects your ability to help from the weak side of the floor because you're so concerned about taking a body off of him. And if you leave him even momentarily, he can do so many things in and around the rim. But the key is to defending Dwight. If you can play him one-on-one this way the 76ers have, yes, he will score, but you're going to keep the other players from getting involved. And how about wasting 24 fouls? You got 4 players. Judicious help. When do you leave him? And off the bounce, when he puts that ball on the floor, you've got an opportunity to help. He's not a good passer after he puts that ball on the floor.
Sixers here trying to steady the ship out of the timeout. They elect Young here against Turkoglu. Miller battling with Alston. Here is Young moving. The basket goes in and a foul.
Foul on number 15, Turkoglu.
Turkoglu, the personal.
This spin by Thaddeus Young is really becoming a part of his game, and that spin accentuates the push by Turkoglu. You draw attention to the push by spinning away from the contact. You get the foul, and you get the ability to get a clean look at the basket and give yourself a chance for a three-point play.
A big three-point play for Young and the Sixers as Turkoglu picks up number 3. Magic 2 team fouls, 3 on the Sixers. Turkoglu, they have managed to keep him under wraps. Not the same for Howard. Straight up coverage. Howard again with the left hand. Second time he's made that move. And Dwight Howard has splits the Sixers for 20 and 11 boards.
An earned field goal that time comes across the lane. 76er bench wanting a travel call. But if that's the shot he's going to make, a one-handed floater across the lane with his left hand, you live with it.
Miller only 5 to shoot. Gets by Alston, who looked to pick his pocket, and in doing so fouled Miller in the act. And Andre Miller hurt on the play after he was fouled by Alston.
Holding his right hand, walking over to the 76er bench and then back to the free throw line to shoot his 2 free throws. But this is not a good foul by Austin. Shot clock winding down. It's going to be a tough shot for Miller to make. Reaches in that time, slaps on top of his hand.
Kevin Johnson, the Sixers head athletic trainer, back to the bench. He's got a tough customer who was injured there, and Andre Miller, who 6 times in his 10-year NBA career has played all 82 games, including last year. 530 consecutive regular season games. Andre Miller, he's fine.
He's fine, and one of the toughest customers in the game. I mean, short of a severed limb, I don't think he's coming out.
Miller, his first trips to the line. Even with this free throw, the Magic, they've taken 8 more at the line than the Sixers. In fact, the Sixers in this game, just 6 of 11. They're down 8. Boy, Lewis just threw an elbow into Iguodala, and Rashard Lewis is tagged with his 3rd personal foul. The offensive foul on Lewis.
And a great switch by the 76ers. Screen set here. Iguodala going to switch. He has just as much right to that position, holds that position, and Lewis clears him out with the left hand. Nice job on the switch by Iguodala to get the initial position and get the offensive foul.
Well, not many turnovers in this game, just 4 apiece. Iguodala did it again. Andre Iguodala given room by Turkoglu, buried the jumper. And Iguodala, who really struggled in last year's playoffs, 8 of 16 for his 16 points.
Turkoglu cannot get to the same airspace that Andre Iguodala can get to.
Iguodala 3 of 4 shooting in the quarter. That time Dalembert picked up his 3rd.
His 3rd, 14 foul.
And there's another one of those fouls that Samuel Dalembert would like to have back. 2 steps from half court. A pick and roll that's really not going to do anything from a scoring standpoint. Dalembert steps out and commits his 3rd personal foul.
So that's how the Sixers have been aggressive on the 3-point shooters, especially Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis, really blitzing them when they get the ball beyond the arc. Is Alston missing the 3. Lou Williams, first time in the second half for him. Miller all the way to the cup, came up short. Rebound to Howard is 12th. Lee missed it. And there's Howard picking up some loose change.
In a playoff setting, Lewis may have gotten away with a loose ball foul coming over the back of the 76ers on the initial miss. But Howard certainly cleaned up that. Gets that ball back and hammers it down with 2 hands.
He's got 22. Williams giving it up. Miller in tight, lost it. And it goes out of bounds and will belong to the Orlando Magic.
In these situations, miss here by Lee. Dallenberg's got to secure that rebound. Did Lewis foul him? Yes, so, maybe so. But certainly that second and third attempt by Howard. No one's going to stop that one. In two hands and in the basket in a hurry.
Turkoglu only 2 points. Taking a break. Michael Petrus, first time in the second half. Dallenberg with 3 personals. The double by Lewis, this time on Howard. Forced to give it up, 2 to shoot. What a play, Petrus for Lewis. With the shot clock running down. Really great presence of mind on that play.
And the one time that Thaddeus Young has turned his back on Rashard Lewis sneaks behind him for the lay-in.
Miller lost out of bounds. The Sixers turned it over. Well, that's their largest lead at.
Continues to look at that right hand and has turned it, unable to hold on to the ball.
Again, Howard. Dallenberg bellies up to him and a whistle, and Howard stepped out of bounds.
Good job by Samuel Dallenberg that time to use that baseline as an extra defender. Feet to the baseline, slide your feet. Howard runs out of room and turns it over.
Howard, a guy who will turn the ball over about 3 times per game. That during the regular season anyway. Iguodala here with double vision. Petrus and Howard locking him off. Nice defense. Lewis for Alston. Tony DeLeo once and gets a 20-second timeout. As the Magic now their largest lead at a dozen.
The Magic right now playing a little bit of the 76er game, forcing the 76ers into turnovers that get the Magic out into the open floor. And all of a sudden the Magic find themselves up by 12.
An 8-3 Orlando run. And Kevin Johnson as Miller stretches over to take a look at that right hand.
Iguodala out of the double team, throws it across the court. Stolen, and then Rafer Alston gets himself out into the open floor. Nice little drop back pass by Lewis. But that's the game that the 76ers play, that forced turnovers, get yourself out on the open floor. Sixers going to have to find a way to generate some easy baskets to get back into this game.
You see Kevin Johnson in the middle of that huddle right now working on that right hand of Andre Miller. Miller, as mentioned earlier, 530 consecutive regular season games, #1 among active players.
But that's what a tough customer he is. No matter how bad that hand is hurting, he's going to let trainer Kevin Johnson know, hey, take a look at it, I'm fine. But he certainly doesn't want it to affect him to the point where he's going to take himself out of the game.
And the Sixers, after taking that first quarter, after a slow start by 2, seeing the Magic taking control over the second quarter and most of this third quarter. Tony DeLeo forced to call a couple of timeouts in the period. And now the Sixers hoping for some kind of a turnabout and rush here to end this third quarter. Petrus bumping into and fouling Thaddeus Young. For Petrus, it'll be his third, and it will put Orlando with the 76ers at the team foul limit. Sixers without a field goal since the 6-minute mark of this quarter. Since then, 6 unanswered points by the Magic. Miller wants Alston. The Magic, they've been doubling that, and Miller knew it. Threw off the double to Dallenberg, who was fouled in the act. And Sammy gets a pair as Petrus fouled him.
A good call that time by Danny Crawford. Samuel Dallenberg had 2 hands on the ball and a great pass out of the double team. Miller instantly sees it, throws it right to the rim. From the weak side of the floor, Dallenberg with 2 hands on the ball, control of the ball when Petrus made contact. Now Dallenberg 2 free throws.
That's the beauty of having your point guard as a post-up guy, because inherently point guards are good passers, and if they do face a double team like that, they're smart enough to face away from it, and that time Miller set up with Dallenberg.
And from a strategy standpoint, why would you double team a passer as good as Miller when he sees the double team coming? It was almost instantaneous. He sees the double, ball in the air to the rim to Dallenberg.
A decision by Stan Van Gundy, the head coach of the Orlando Magic. His team, though, up 10 under 3.5 to play here in the third. Lee open for three, and Courtney Lee. Howard's getting his. Few thought that Courtney Lee would get twice what he normally gets. He averages 8 during the regular season. He's got 16. Williams missing the deuce. Floorboard to Alston as Lee hit his first 3 of the game moments ago. Alston dancing in, denied by Dallenberg, but it will go as a goaltend. Sammy now grabbing at that right shoulder, which he hurt a few days ago.
And from the top of the floor. Right now, the Orlando Magic using that three-point line as bait to get players like Alston, to get players like Courtney Lee off the bounce into the rim.
Kevin Johnson, an important man for the Sixers, especially in the playoffs. Trying to keep the Sixers healthy and together, but Miller with that aching hand. Dallenberg with that right shoulder, aching him yet again. And what's really hurting is the fact that the Magic are beginning to pull away. There's Pietrus, denied that time by Dallenberg in tight. Dallenberg had Howard. Sammy continues to grab at that shoulder. Here's Iguodala trying to work it to Sammy. And again, the baseline official pick up the play. So he defers to another official who rules in favor of the Orlando Magic. Magic their largest lead at 15 now with 2 and change to go here in the third. Game 1, round 1 of the NBA playoffs on Comcast Sportsnet. Playoff tickets now on sale for games 3 and 4 Friday and Sunday at the Wachovia Center. 215-339-7676 or pay a visit to Sixers.com for more information. Magic by 15 thanks to an 11-2 run here in tonight's third quarter of this game 1, round 1 of the playoff series between the 6th and number 3 seeds.
Well, our Toyota turning point has been the play of one Courtney Lee. 76ers doing an excellent job on Turkoglu and Lewis. Neither one has a three-pointer to this point in the game with 2:07 left here in the third. But Courtney Lee, 13 in the second, and a big 3 here in the third to stretch the lead to 13. He's been the difference, and that's been the turning point in the game as the Sixers have kept the key three-point shooters in control, but Courtney Lee has gotten away from them.
Lee, a guy who actually, in a game against the Sixers at the Wachovia Center in February, did not shoot particularly well, at least through 3 quarters. Sixers leaving him open, and the strategy was working. Then he explodes. 13 of his 18 coming in the fourth quarter of that game. And tonight, second quarter was especially devastating to the Sixers, where he dropped 13 of his 16. And again, this guy's a rookie playing in his first ever playoff game.
It's big-time stuff from a rookie to come in under this type of pressure, playoff pressure, and deliver the way he has in the second quarter, and here again in the third.
Sixers need to buckle down. Tony Battie, first time in the second half for him. Lee getting open, and he is having himself quite a game. That's Courtney Lee now with 18 points.
But again, by design, left open by design, and he has delivered tonight for the Magic.
Maybe they need to alter the design a little bit.
Again, if you alter that design and start opening things up for dangerous three-point shooters like Turkoglu and Lewis, I'm still with the strategy, Mark. I am. If you're going to lose a series to the Orlando Magic, and Courtney Lee in his first playoff appearance is going to beat you and do that to you 4 times, you take your hat off to that rookie and say, congratulations, young man. But the strategy is sound. Let Howard go one-on-one, score his points, and the Sixers have done a job here keeping 2 very, very dangerous three-point shooters under control. No threes in the game for Turkoglu or Lewis, and one player has gotten away from them, and that's rookie Courtney Lee.
That said, both of those guys are on the bench right now in Turkoglu and Lewis, so clearly Lee has to be a marked man, certainly among this group.
And now maybe he's the one shooter as you change your strategy. Those 2 shooters on the bench, put that X on Lee's jersey, rotate to him, keep him out of the paint, get him off the three-point line.
1 of 2 for Sammy. Alston getting free. Grabbed by Iguodala. Iguodala romping in, challenging Howard. And a loose ball foul coming up on the Sixers. It'll be Samuel Dalembert. And for Sammy, personal number 4.
And Iguodala upset with himself. 76ers into penalty. Howard will walk the floor after checking his eye. But this is the second time in this game that Iguodala has rebounded the ball and gone coast to coast. Unable to finish here. Right hand doesn't quite get it. Samuel Dalembert comes right across the top of the head and gets Howard in the eye.
And now a 20-second timeout called by the Orlando Magic as Howard deals with his injury. Dalembert once again 4 personals. Both teams are in the penalty and 1:12 to play here in the third. The Sixers without a field goal since 6 minutes remained in this quarter.
And Iguodala upset with himself, unable to finish as Dalembert comes right across the face, not once but twice. Gets Howard in the eye. Now Howard has to shoot these free throws. By rule, if he does not shoot these free throws, he's done for the evening. So I'm sure this Orlando Magic training staff will do their best to ask him, how many fingers do I have up? Close your one eye, do whatever you got to do to shoot this free throw. We'd like you to stay in the game.
Dwight Howard, what a game he's got. 5th year right out of high school. Top pick in the NBA draft. Out of Southwest Atlanta, Georgia Christian Academy. You might recall that draft. Emeka Okafor going number 2. Some debate before the draft as to who should be the top pick. And in fact, the Magic confirming they selected the right guy. J.J. Redick, his 3rd year from Duke. He really struggled during the tail end of the regular season. Coming on for the first time in this game, Redick, of course, has always been, certainly in his college career, very good outside shooter. Has not proven that to be true in his NBA career. But a guy who knows how to stroke it, understands the fundamentals very well, and could get hot at a moment's notice. In the meantime, Howard, linking his way back to reality here, will go to the line for the 7th and 8th times in this game.
You just talked about J.J. Redick checking into the game, struggling to make shots. He's made 1 field goal in his playoff career, and it was a 3. Only appeared in 3 playoff games in his entire career. Trying to stretch himself out now and try and help the Magic.
Dwight Howard, already the career leader in Magic history in free throws attempted, and just completing his 5th NBA season. That includes Shaq's time here.
Gortat at the table as Howard wants out to get that eye checked.
So how about Howard getting a pair of free throws, linking his way through it. Sixers down 18 under a minute to play here in the third. Sixers will keep it here with 10 to shoot, and Howard finally retreating to the bench. Marcin Gortat, 2nd-year player from Poland, is in for Howard, who sits with 24, 14 rebounds, 2 blocks. Iguodala with no Howard in there. Maybe the Sixers can get a few easy hoops. Young scoring it. Beautifully done by Thaddeus Young, who's got 14.
That's his go-to move, that right-hand drive, left-hand spin. Nice finish.
Sixers, a little end-of-quarter push here would be nice. Theo Ratliff came in moments ago as Samuel Dalembert committed his 4th. Royale Ivy in, first time in the second half. Had a 6-second difference here between the clocks. Williams against Rafer Alston. Lou, the bump and run, whistle silent as he gets 2. Shot clock is unplugged. Alston stripped. 1.2 for the Sixers, and an opportunity here for a hoop. They get lucky. Here's Iguodala. That's a prayer. Oh, had it gone, I believe it would have counted. But enough damage done by Orlando's Magic in that third quarter as Iguodala's 3 from about 60 feet away. It was a great try. Magic outscoring the Sixers by a count of 29-19 in that third quarter after outscoring them by 6 in the second. And their lead is at 79-65, a 14-point cushion as we head to the fourth of this Game 1, Round 1 of the NBA playoffs.
76ers basketball is brought to you by Honda. Test drive a 2009 Honda today at your Honda dealer. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO.
From the city of Orlando, the Magic, after 3 quarters of this Game 1, Round 1 of the NBA playoffs, lead the Sixers by 14. As we get set for the start of the fourth and final quarter of this game, with Game 2 not coming until Wednesday. The 76ers with 2 full practice days before they face the Magic here again. That'll be a 7 o'clock tip right here on Comcast Sportsnet. As the Sixers, after a slow start, recovered very nicely and in fact led by as many as 6 in that first quarter. They took the first by 2, trailed at halftime by 4, then outscored by the Magic by 10 in that third quarter. The game leaders, Andre Iguodala and Dwight Howard, pacing their respective teams. Howard has also grabbed 14 rebounds. Iguodala and Alston, the leaders in assists. And Andre Miller and Courtney Lee each with 1 steal. That's a look at our game leaders from the first 3 quarters. Joining us once again tonight here in Orlando, D-Line. Denise.
Huddle, we have seen the Sixers do this in the past when they're down by double digits and they need a score. They put Donyell Marshall, and that's exactly what he's doing. That's here. Donyell's that instant offense with his 3-point shooting. And then we have Theo Ratliff in there to hopefully help on the defensive end, but they're going to have to do something quickly to get back in this and get this crowd out of the game.
Donyell Marshall, who went to the finals with Cleveland back in 2007. And with this game, a veteran of 42 playoff games, as Ratliff there tried to take a charge. But instead, the block is called on Theo.
Hedo Turkoglu trying to pretend that didn't hurt. Kind of rubbing his right shoulder. That was some serious contact as he tried to turn the corner. Theo Ratliff double teaming that pick. Gave him a shot.
All with D-Lineman and Bob Salmi, Mark Zumoff tonight. There's Turkoglu finally getting a look. He misses the 3. Turkoglu during the regular season, 36% from beyond, and he averaged just under 17. He's got exactly 2 points in this game. 0 for 5 from the floor. Ivy and Williams in the backcourt with Iguodala and Marshall the forwards. Ratliff in the middle as Royale Ivy hits the 3. A timely one at that for Ivy, who, believe it or not, although 5 years in the NBA, his first playoff game, and the Sixers down 11 after trailing by as many as 18. Though Tony Battie, pretty capable with that middle distance shot, and he drills the jumper, a second field goal for 4.
Well, only 1 starter on the floor right now for the Magic, and that's Turkoglu. 76ers going to get back into it. They got to do it right now.
Williams threw it up. He thought he was fouled. No whistle. These are, after all, the playoffs. Redick giving it up to Battie. The fake on Marshall. Rimmed it. Rebound to Ratliff. Iguodala taking on all comers. And Battie has it for the Magic. So, with the exception of Turkoglu, it's all bench for Orlando with the veteran Johnson and Redick in the backcourt. That'll go as an offensive foul on Anthony Johnson. Completing the 5 for the Magic, Battie, Marcin Gortat, and Hedo Turkoglu.
And there's no question, Gortat never, ever gave Ivy a chance to take a step. You must allow a defender 1 step, the ability to react when that screen is set. Gortat snuck up behind him and then cracked it.
How many turnovers in this game? A total of 15. Teams will average about 14-15 a game during the regular season. Iguodala giving it up. Ratliff throws it down. Compliments of Andre Iguodala. His 6th assist of the game. All told a 9-2 Sixer run. And again, they're down 11.
Last 2 76er field goals. Andre Iguodala to the corner for a 3 for Ivy, and now drops it to Ratliff for a dunk.
chance for the Sixer bench here to make an early fourth quarter push. Riddick is stripped en route to the floor, scooped up by Marshall. Here come the black shirts. Iguodala has been trying to drive on almost every possession, at times denied by Turkoglu in the Magic defense. Remember, no Dwight Howard, so perhaps opportunities for the Sixers to take it in. There goes Iguodala again, that time stripped and into the hands of Tony Battie. That's Johnson. The three.
If you would have told me at the start of this game that the guys making threes for the Orlando Magic will be Courtney Lee, Rafer Alston, and Anthony Johnson, I would have said fine. Sixers have done a nice job keeping the two best three-point shooters from scoring. The other players have stepped up here in game one for the Magic.
Anya Marshall hitting the three. Marshall, many a timely three during the regular season, helping the Sixers to win several games. Dwight Howard considering his re-entry as again the Sixers have it to 11. And they trapped the Magic to the Sixers, but Battie got open. Don't miss the jumper. Sixers can make that Orlando lead single digits. Marshall, another three. A rebound taken by Turkoglu.
That was a healthy three that time. A good step and a half behind the three-point line.
Williams thought better of touching it because he knew it was sailing out of bounds, and Orlando turns it over. Sixers down by as many as 18, have trimmed it to 11. And we have a timeout on the floor. Still early in this fourth and final quarter tonight here at Amway Arena. 84-73 the Magic. Back with more right after this. Back here in Orlando, where the Sixers have the edge thus far in the fourth quarter. For the Magic leading this game since the latter portion of the second quarter. Sixers last lead coming at 41-40. Orlando by as many as 18. And Dwight Howard, who was poked in the eye before he went out a few minutes ago, apparently thinking about coming back into the contest. Elanum, what do you know?
Well, that's correct. He is thinking about coming back in. The training staff working with him, and he is going to make the substitution at this point. But they were hoping the eye would kind of calm down and relax. He said there was some blurred vision there. We can only hope that that's how he starts seeing the basket, because right now he's 9 of 11 from the floor, and he has 24 points and 14 rebounds. But again, poked in the right eye, and he is experiencing some blurred vision.
So Dwight Howard with 24 and 14. His career playoff high, by the way, 29 points. And you can just tell he's not seeing quite right. He looks to be squinting. But he enters here with 8:23 to go. And the Sixers in the midst of a 12-5 push over about the last 5 minutes of game time. Sixers continue with the backcourt of Williams and Ivy. Iguodala again looking to drive it, gives it up. Williams, that's for three. Got it! Lou Williams hitting a timely three. Lou is 3 of 3 from beyond. The Sixers come roaring back to make it an 8-point game.
Set up out of timeout by Tony DeLeo. Double high pick and roll. Andre Iguodala finds his teammate in the left corner.
Shard Lewis missing. Rebound to Williams. Lewis only 12 points of the game. Has not hit a three tonight. Iguodala making plays now for himself, hits the jumper, and the Sixers have nearly come all the way back. Iguodala with 16 points in what has become a 6-point game.
Battling back again. Andre Iguodala rising up over Turkoglu into airspace that he can't get to.
Back to Howard they go. Ratliff knocked it away. Here come the black shirts. Iguodala taking on Turkoglu. Ivy, that's for three. Rebound to Iguodala, who's doing it all here in the fourth quarter. And Andre Iguodala himself getting poked in the eye, and he wants Lou Williams to take the basketball. Play continues. Williams, a rolling Ratliff, and he's fouled. It'll be 2 at the line for Theo Ratliff. Set up beautifully by Lou Williams as Iguodala again poked in the eye moments ago.
76ers playing a little dribble handoff game. Double team. Here comes the double team. He's going to set up the double. Here goes to the basket. Nice read that time. Little dribble handoff, too much help by Howard. Nice read, nice bounce pass. And now 2 free throws for Theo Ratliff.
Iguodala to the bench. Andre Miller in for him. A tough time to lose Andre Iguodala because he had taken charge. He was rebounding, setting guys up, scoring. He literally was doing it all.
Again, Sixer training staff hard at work on Iguodala on the sidelines in hopes that he'll get right back in the game, as the Sixers have gotten right back in the game.
They are down 5. Courtney Lee is back into the game. In fact, all the Magic starters back in there with Alston, Lewis, Lee, Turkoglu, and of course Dwight Howard. That's Lewis, set up for a 3, and he missed it. Sixers have it. Lewis 0 for 2 from beyond. Here are the Sixers down 5. Miller all the way to the cup, and he got it done. And the Magic went a timeout. The 76ers have come to play in this Game 1, Round 1 of their opening round playoff series, with the Magic ripping off an 18-5 spurt after they trailed by as many as 18 points.
76ers no quit in them. 76ers continue to fight back. Miller, nice spin. Howard just a hair late. Sixers climbing back down 3.
We welcome you back to Amway Arena. The Sixers making a push here in the 4th quarter. They trailed by 14 when it started. They now trail by just 3, 84-81, as we take a look at tonight's storyline. And you have to begin with the play of the big fella, Dwight Howard. He and Courtney Lee have combined for 42 points and 16 rebounds. Andre Iguodala, who just suffered a poked eye himself, 18 points, 7 assists, and 6 boards. And of course, the three-point shooting. The Sixers have limited the Orlando Magic to 4 of 13. They've made 5 threes themselves. Obviously, it was the three-point shooting in this quarter, Mark, that got them back in it.
Well, three-point shooting has been the difference in this game, and it's been the 76ers that have been knocking down threes. But look at the guy that has the basketball. The guy making the plays is Andre Iguodala. Andre Iguodala finding teammates. Andre Iguodala drawing double teams, and out of those double teams, finding Lou Williams, finding Royale Ivy, finding open 76ers at the three-point line.
Andre Iguodala still on the Sixer bench. Amazing for the Sixers in this game. Three-point shooting come from 3 different guys, all off the bench. Williams, Ivy, and Marshall. We thank you so much for joining us tonight for what has turned out to be a very exciting Game 1 of their opening round playoff series, as Hedo Turkoglu able to connect for the first time from the floor tonight. Just 1 of 6. He has only 4 points.
Just a sigh of relief from Turkoglu finally getting a jumper to go down. Sixers have done a nice job defensively on him.
He interrupts an 11-0 Sixer run. Count it, and a foul. Williams busting a move on Courtney Lee. He'll get 1 more at the line and a chance to make it a 2-point game.
Well, we've talked all along about Lou Williams' fastball. How about his changeup? Little change of speed to get by Lee, draw the contact, hang in the air. Quick change of direction, quick burst of speed, and now go in the air before anyone from the weak side. Guess who was coming? Howard was looming. Nice job by Williams to get in the air before he could get there to block the shot.
Lou with a sweet 16 off the bench. Sixers have it to 2. They haven't led since the latter part of the second quarter. Ratliff patrolling on Turkoglu when he fouled him on the floor.
Foul number 50, Theo Ratliff.
Theo Ratliff, the bulk of the playing time at the center spot tonight for the Sixers.
His 3rd second team foul.
Talked about tag teaming Dwight Howard. Samuel Dalembert tags out. Theo Ratliff tags in, has done a nice job.
Marshall on Lewis, got to stay with him. Lee for 3, missed it. Rebound off of Howard, I believe, out of bounds. Sixers claiming there was a shot clock violation. They're all pointing to the shot clock, but the officials are not acknowledging it.
They're pointing at the clock because they think it made contact with something behind the backboard. And if it did, that ball's out of bounds. On this three-point miss, where does the ball go? If it made contact with any portion of that backboard behind the glass, then that should have been Sixer ball.
Marshall battling with Lewis. Forced to give it up. Lee, a little gun shy there.
He turned it down, no question.
Now put it on the floor, missed inside. Howard denied and foul. Good foul as Dwight Howard came down with a miss. And now he goes to the line after he was fouled by Donyell Marshall.
So close to a great possession. Lee off the bounce, gets himself to the rim. I think Ratliff might have gotten a piece of that. But what does Howard do the moment that Ratliff goes to help? He goes to the offensive glass. And you see how difficult it is. Once you take a body off Superman, it is hard to get reconnected. He takes full advantage, secures the offensive rebound, and now gets 2 free throws.
Andre Iguodala is back. And he replaces Thaddeus Young.
Interesting, Tony DeLeo staying with Marshall. I think Marshall can continue to stretch that floor, maybe hit another 3.
Howard was poked in the eye, but he continues to make free throws. He makes both there. All told tonight, 8 of 10 from the line. He's got 26 points. 8 of 10 from a guy who normally shoots 59%. The Sixers are down 4, under 5 to play in the final quarter. The lob for Williams, beautifully done. Compliments of Andre Miller, 18 for Lou Williams.
All of a sudden, the play of Courtney Lee in the first half going by the wayside as Lou Williams has taken advantage of Lee here in the 4th.
Again, the Sixers down 2. Lewis wants Marshall, and Donyell refuses to budge. Turkoglu gives it up. Lewis for 3. That's his first 3 of the game. Sixers down 5. Marshall, that's for 3. Got it! Take that, Rashard Lewis. Donyell Marshall, his second 3 of the game.
Tony DeLeo, great call to leave Marshall in the game as he answers Lewis's 3 with one of his own.
Again, the Sixers down a deuce. The Sixers 7 of 11 from beyond. They swing it to Lee. Iguodala battles with Turkoglu, and he ripped it away from him. Here come the Sixers. They can tie, go in front with a 3. It's Miller. Yes! Andre Miller locks it up at 91.
Wasn't pretty, but the little 2-step, little hesitation from the top of the floor changes speed just enough to get to the rim.
3:40 and counting final quarter. Lewis passing up the 3. Lee does so as well. Nobody wants to shoot. Finally, Alston missing the 3. Iguodala in front of Turkoglu, but he wins out. The Magic here with a fresh 24, tied at 91. What a comeback by the Sixers, down as many as 18 here in the second half. They look to Howard, and 36-year-old Theo Ratliff battles him. Williams the double.
Tough move by Howard off the double team, spins away from the double team, and a big time finish with the left hand.
Sixers down a deuce. Iguodala, and the Sixers turned it over. Andre Iguodala claiming it was foul. There was no whistle. Now they need a stop. Turkoglu has taken many a big shot for the Magic in his career here. There he goes again. Plows into Ratliff. Out of bounds it goes, and the only whistle to signal that the ball's out of bounds. No foul called. We'll take a timeout. The Magic left with 11 to shoot, 2:38 to go, in what has turned out to be a whale of a game 1, round 1 between these two teams.
Tony DeLeo deciding to stay with Donyell Marshall. Great decision on his part. Cross-court pass for the 3 that keeps the Sixers in it.
Marvelous drama here in Orlando. It has come down to this. The Magic with a 2-point lead. 2:38 to play in the 4th and final quarter. The Sixers, some early jitters in the game, recovered to take a 2-point lead after 1, down 4 after the first 2 quarters, and then after 3 they trailed by 14. The Sixers down by as many as 18 in the game, but they have come roaring back. Moments ago they tied it on an Andre Miller layup at 91. Now they are down a deuce, and the Magic with 11 seconds here to shoot, coming out of the timeout.
But again, the 76ers clawing back, showing no quit. How about coming out of timeout? Throw that lob pass. Courtney Lee has hurt the 76ers. Lou Williams paying him back. Then in the open floor, a little hesitation, hang in the air. Andre Miller gets himself to the rim. How about the skip pass? Tony DeLeo staying with Donyell Marshall, taking Thaddeus Young out of the game. Donyell Marshall answers with a three of his own after Lewis had hit one on the previous possession.
D. Lynam, what can you add?
Well, they spent the whole time out talking about what they're going to do defensively here with Orlando taking the ball out, 11 seconds left on the shot clock. And the biggest thing was staying home with Howard, but making sure the rest of the guys rotate out to those shooters. We're pretty sure it's going to be Lewis or Turkoglu taking a jump shot here, but staying home on Howard.
What a fourth quarter it has been for the Sixers. Again, down by as many as 18. In need of a stop here, trailing by a deuce. Iguodala on Turkoglu. Got it. And Hedo Turkoglu, even though Hedo struggled in this game, has hit many a big shot for the Orlando Magic in his 6 seasons here in Orlando. And now the Magic lead built to 4. Iguodala has been nothing short of brilliant. Miller finds Marshall thinking 3. Lee on him. Marshall takes the rookie. Got it done. Did he call it? Who cares? It went in.
Strange banking hours here in Florida. Good job by Marshall to recognize he was run off the line. Beats Lee off the dribble and hits the banker.
He's got 8 in a 10-minute run off the bench under 2 to play. Sixers down a deuce. Ratliff on Lewis, the outstanding marksman. Iguodala's got Howard, and Howard takes him inside. Got away with a walk. And we have a whistle and a foul on Andre Iguodala. I thought that Howard walked on the play.
Again, the officials arguing that there's a reason that Howard walked. Mismatch in the low post. Iguodala coming back.
He did. He walked before the contact.
Tough break for the 76ers. Iguodala trying to wrestle the bear on a switch situation. Good to take the foul there to prevent the easy dunk.
Terrible non-call. This point in the game. Sixers at the team foul limit. Turkoglu for Howard. And now we have another whistle. Foul's going to be on Andre Miller. He's gotten away with several travels in this game. He has shuffled his feet a number of times.
One of the reasons I'm glad I'm sitting here instead of having a whistle in my mouth. Contact, pushing, shoving, switching pivot feet. Sixers nice job here. Howard on the line. He's 8 for the line to this point in the game. Let's see if he can finish out.
Howard 8 of 11 from the stripe. He makes this one. He'll tie his career high in a playoff game at 29 points.
Look, no matter how many you make in a game, you know you're a 59% shooter. This is not a comfortable spot for a guy who doesn't shoot a good percentage from the line.
Sixers can tie with a 3. And oh, by the way, they've been terrific from beyond. Look at Lou Williams, allowing precious seconds to remain on the clock by not touching the ball. Iguodala, the lob, Ratliff, got it done! Beyond the grasp of Howard. Beautiful feed by Andre Iguodala, who's been nothing short of magnificent, and now it's a 1-point game.
Andre Iguodala making plays for teammates, making the proper plays, putting it right on the money to Ratliff.
Sixers need a stop. Lewis gives it up. Alston rolling in. No! Rebound to Iguodala. Sixers look to go in front. Andre Iguodala all the way, forcing the issue. Contact made. A foul. Hedo Turkoglu, the personal.
Theo alters this shot. 76ers do a nice job of covering for him to get the rebound. And this is the 4th time in this game, Mark, that Andre Iguodala has secured a rebound and busted out with one dribble and beaten the entire Orlando Magic team down the floor. That's a good call that time. Turkoglu can't make contact and then turn his back and expect not to have a foul call.
This game will encore tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. on Comcast Sportsnet. Andre Iguodala 72% during the regular season. His first free throws of the game. Williams and Marshall, who've been terrific off the bench, giving way to Ivy for his defense, and Thaddeus Young as Andre Iguodala looks to tie the game. forget it and play defense. You got to put it in the rear view. Under a minute to go, Sixers down 1. Alston rolling in for Howard. Slam. Dwight Howard now a career high for a playoff game at 31.
Loose ball around the basket. Second time he's been able to clean up a loose ball in and around the rim. And anytime you take a body off that monster right there, you know he's going to have an opportunity to stick that ball in the basket and do it quickly.
Sixers down 3. 49.1 to go here in the fourth and final quarter. A lot of drama taking place today. The Flyers, a big playoff game with Pittsburgh. The Phillies, what an ending against San Diego. And this one coming down to quite a finish here in Orlando. We'll catch you up on Toyota Sports Night tonight at 10 o'clock right here on Comcast Sportsnet. We'll be back with more exciting playoff action after this. Back to live action. Sixers have it out of the timeout. Lou Williams back in. Sixers down 3. Here's Iguodala for the tie. Missed it. Rebound to Ratliff. Miller thinking 3. Gives it up. Marshall for the tie. Yes! Oh, yes! Danielle Marshall rips the cords with a 3, and we are locked at 98.
Heads up, savvy play off the offensive rebound by Andre Miller to pull the ball back out, survey the court, find the one man that's open on the floor, the one man that was open on the floor, cross-court pass to Danielle Marshall, who has delivered big 3 threes in the game for him. What a decision by Tony DeLeo late in the fourth to stay with him, leave him in the game in place of Thaddeus Young, and that's our AT&T call of the game. The call made by Tony DeLeo to leave Danielle Marshall in the game in place of Thaddeus Young. He has delivered here in the second half and delivered a 3 that's tied the game with 34.8 seconds to go.
Danielle Marshall, huge in victories this year at Detroit. Might recall that early season victory for the 76ers where he came off the bench. That Laker game at LA, yes, it was won by the 3 by Andre Iguodala late, but Marshall kept the Sixers in it with his potency from beyond. That home Miami game late in the season against Dwayne Wade, Danielle Marshall was tremendous in that. Sixers won a game against Milwaukee at home in early April due to his blue-collar work. It is great to have a professional around in the playoffs like Danielle Marshall. The poll question brought to you by AT&T. And the majority of you say that containing Orlando's three-point shooting is the most important thing for the Sixers to do in this playoff series. And by and large, they've done that tonight.
Certainly have. By and large, they've done that. Kept a player like Rashad Lewis from making a 3 till well into the second half. Hedo Turkoglu does not have a 3 in the game. 76ers running those 2 off the three-point line, and it's one of the reasons they've been able to tie this game.
And now Marshall can take a break. On defense, Thaddeus Young in for him. Each team left with a 20-second timeout. Nobody has a foul to give. We are all tied at 98. So happy you could join us here on Comcast Sportsnet. Turkoglu against Iguodala. Ratliff taking over, gives it up. Lewis thinking 3, dips in, missed it. Rebound to Andre Miller. Here come the Sixers with the clocks virtually identical. Sixers to hold it out and look for 1. Tied at 98. Into the hands of Iguodala against Turkoglu. And now the clock is stopped as the Sixers call for and get a timeout. Tony DeLeo, I thought he was going to let the clock run down, came all the way out to midcourt, pleading, screaming with anybody who would look, I need a timeout. And the Sixers using their final timeout of the game.
Amazing in these situations. You could yell at the top of your voice. But Tony DeLeo finally gets the attention of Thaddeus Young in the left corner. Thaddeus Young calls the timeout. 76ers with an opportunity here in regulation with the shot clock and game clock almost identical to take the last shot of the game to win.
Hey, listen, you got to see this live, okay? This Sixers team has come to play. The Orlando Magic, the experts heavily favoring them, not even giving the Sixers a prayer, and what do you know? An opportunity to take a late lead and maybe steal this game. Come on out for Game 3. Come on out for Game 4. Game 3 Friday at 8 o'clock. All fans get a Sixers t-shirt. Game 4 Sunday at 6:30. All fans are going to get kryptonite of all things. Sixers.com or 215-339-7676. Get your playoff tickets now.
How much fun was that Game 3 last season, Mark, where the 76ers went up 2-1 in that series? 76ers looking to go one up here. They roared back to tie this game with a 33-19 fourth quarter.
A magnificent fourth quarter. Keep in mind the Sixers were down 18 here in the second half. Donyell Marshall back into the game. Lewis is on him. About a second and a half separating the clocks. Sixers without a timeout. They get it to Iguodala against Turkoglu. They spread the floor for Iguodala against Turkoglu. Andre Iguodala for the lead. Yes! Oh, yes! Andre Iguodala has done it again. 2.2 to go. The Sixers lead by a bucket.
Andre Iguodala. How do you silence 17,461 fans? Knocked down a jumper at the top of the floor with 2.2 seconds to go. Iguodala, the man, gets the ball from Tony DeLeo and delivers again for the 76ers. Isolation at the top of the floor, taking his time. Step back jump shot, and all night long, Mark, Hedo Turkoglu has not been able to get to the same airspace as Andre Iguodala. Rises up, uses his athleticism. Turkoglu has no effect on that shot whatsoever, and Iguodala knocking down a big shot to give the Sixers a 2-point lead.
Andre Iguodala, in a one-point game earlier in the quarter, had a chance to put the Sixers up by a point. If he had made both free throws, he missed both, but he put it in the rearview mirror, and now it's winning time, and the Sixers just need to hang on for 2.2 more seconds, and they'll wrap up this game one.
Ed Stefanski told us, what's that called? Instant amnesia, and great players have it. When you make a mistake, even a mistake like missing 2 free throws that could have given you the lead, put it behind you, go right back to work. How many players could do what he did? Miss those shots and then hit what could be the game winner.
What does the Magic do now?
Again, with this type of time, you don't have time really to throw the ball back to the inbounder. Turkoglu not taking the ball out of bounds. All the shooters on the floor right now, as Rafer Alston taking the ball out of bounds for the Magic.
Alston to throw it in. You get 5 seconds. Turkoglu. There's Turkoglu. No! And the Sixers have won it! The Sixers win the game! Game 1, round 1, goes to the underdogs, the Philadelphia 76ers.
76ers
Stunner tonight here in Orlando.
Almost as if it's been scripted in the entire NBA. Yesterday, 3 road teams win. 76ers come into the Orlando Magic Arena and stun them as Andre Iguodala delivers the game winner.
For the 4th time in these playoffs thus far, the road team has won Game 1. D-line, I'm in conversation with Andre Miller. Go ahead, Denise.
Well, Andre, obviously, you're not a guy who shows a lot of emotion, but obviously you and your teammates worked very hard in that second half to not only come back, but to win this one.
Well, we stuck with the game plan. We made some big stops. Donyell came in and hit some big shots again. And Andre finished it off like he's been doing all year, making big plays. And good effort. We didn't give up at all.
Andre, obviously people worried so much about their three-point shooting, and that's about as well as you guys have executed in terms of perimeter defense.
Well, we don't mind Howard scoring in the post. You know, he had 31 points and probably 20 rebounds, but the game plan was to force him to make plays and stay on their shooters. And we did that.
And my last thing, just to be one of the 4 teams that won on the road in these first-round playoffs, that's pretty impressive. It says a lot about the parity in the NBA.
Yeah, we could have easily gave that game up after the third quarter being down that many points, but we stuck with it. We made plays, made a big run, and I mean, it's good to get this win.
Andre, congratulations to you and your teammate.
Thanks.
Andre Miller and all of the 76ers big in that fourth quarter. That little hesitation, that little stop and go. We said it wasn't pretty, but he got it done. Andre Miller and the 76ers come roaring back from 14 down at the end of the third. And Andre Iguodala delivers. Top of the floor, Edu Turkoglu unable to contest the shot to the point where it affected the shot. Iguodala delivers the game winner.
Oh, by the way, 2 boards and 2 assists short of a triple-double. Andre Iguodala, as he has done so many times this year, hitting huge shots for the Sixers, and none bigger than to win Game 1, Round 1 of this opening round playoff series with the heavily favored Orlando Magic. Iguodala won off his playoff career high with 20. As the Sixers in this game, they were down 79-61, an 18-point deficit, and they literally come roaring back to stun the Magic tonight here in Orlando. Do you love it? 215-339-7676. Games 3 and 4 Friday and Sunday at the Wachovia Center.
76ers basketball has been brought to you by the new AT&T. Your world delivered. McDonald's McCafe coffees. Try hot or iced mochas, lattes, and cappuccinos. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Bud Light, the difference is drinkability. Wachovia, the official financial services partner of the Philadelphia 76ers. Mountain Dew, do the do. And by Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward.
Was not hard to pick our Land Rover extraordinary play of the game. Andre Iguodala, 2.2 seconds to go. Game tied, not tied anymore. Andre Iguodala delivers at the end of the game to give the 76ers the win.
Wow. That was good.
I'll take 3 more of these. How about you?
Hey, if they're all wins, I don't care what form or fashion they come in. As the 76ers win this by a final score of 100-98. So the Sixers now take the lead in this best-of-7 series, 1-0. And they, in effect, take home court now from the Orlando Magic as they revive memories of last year's stunning victory at Detroit to open that series. But Bob Salmi, I think group.
There's no question resolved with this group. How many times this season have we seen them get down and, like you said, put it in the rearview mirror, forget what just happened, continue to battle, and battle back to take game 1 of this series. This was a great finish for the 76ers. And at the top of the show, we talked about those 4 players that had to deliver. All 4 delivered tonight for the 76ers.
And Andre Miller, I think, was right on when he mentioned the Sixers having a game plan, staying with the game plan. It seemed to backfire because Courtney Lee, of all people, was burning the Sixers, but they limited Orlando's three-point shooting. As you had mentioned, the Magic averaging 11 made threes in the previous 3 games during the regular season. But they kept those guys under wraps. They allowed Dwight Howard the one-on-one coverage. They said, go ahead, get yours. We're going to keep those guys from hitting threes, and it worked perfectly.
As a coaching staff, you have to believe in the decisions you make in terms of preparing for a game. Sixers believe in those decisions, stay with those decisions, and come away with the win here in Game 1.
All right, don't go anywhere, please. We have much more to discuss as Dodge presents Sixers Post-Game Live. You'll want to relive all 48 minutes. John Celestin, Gerald Henderson, Ron Burke, D-line them in the locker room. And oh yes, Game 2 after a couple of days off here in beautiful Orlando will be Wednesday. It's a 7 o'clock start. High definition. Where else but on your home of the Sixers, Comcast Sportsnet. For J.R. Quilla, our producer, for Nick Marquette, our director, for D and Bob Salmi, I'm Mark Zumoff. Dodge presents Sixers Post Game Live. Up next.